So Arthur kind of mentioned that dinner and said I was hosting. I did not pick up the tab that evening, so I wasn't really hosting. But it really is amazing to me to be standing here 16 years after having that dinner up in Massachusetts, and it's really been a blink. But I want to start by thanking Mr. Blank for the opportunity of a lifetime. I wanted nothing else, as a kid, other than to play professional sports. And in April of 2008, you gave me that opportunity. And I know draft picks are never, an easy decision. There's lots of options. There's lots of ways you can go. But for me, it was a responsibility every day to make sure you guys were right. And I tried to do that the best that I could for the 14 seasons here. So thank you for the confidence then. Thank you for the confidence, through those 14 years. And thank you for the friendship, that continues on. I'll certainly always be pulling for Atlanta and the Falcons. When you think about, it being the end, there's so many people that help you get to this point. And three of them are sitting right here. I can't believe you guys came out today. So Todd, Jenk, and Finn, appreciate you guys coming. But you guys were there from the start when I got here. And I'm so thankful to you guys and really to all the teammates that made such an impact on my career and on my life. There really is no team sport like football. You're completely dependent on so many other people. And I was so lucky to play with so many great ones. To everybody in the organization, I start thinking about, like Mr. Blank mentioned, the number of people that, I got to meet, and he mentioned that, that I impacted, but it works both ways. And so I was so fortunate for my 14 seasons here to be impacted by incredible coaches. I think of head coaches, starting with Mike Smith. Got to see him this morning, which was incredible. And, I think of the impact that he had on my career, right? And I don't think you could ask for a better guy to start with, as a young, rookie. And he's a no-nonsense, no BS, head coach, and kind of laid out, what it looked like to be a professional and how to lead men. I learned a ton from him. And then had the opportunity to play for Dan Quinn, who, in my opinion, is one of the best when it comes to being able to connect, with guys and understand, what it takes to motivate people. And I'm thankful to have spent my time with him. And then the one season with Arthur Smith too was incredible. So, to all those coaches, to all my position coaches at the quarterback spot, to all of the strength coaches, the other position coaches that, I had great relationships with and learned so much from it. I just want to say thank you. And then I think about trainers. I saw Danny and Jake walking around the facility earlier today, and I think back, to all of the time that you spent in that training room trying to get going day in and day out just for practice or just to give yourself a chance to be able to play on a Sunday. I'm so thankful for them. Marty Lazone, who's here such a long time in my career, he made an impact, on me. And those guys were selfless in terms of, giving up extra hours of the night or, getting here at the crack of dawn to try and get your body ready to go. So I'm so thankful to all of them. The equipment guys, they're like extended family because you spend so much time in that locker room and they're there and just supporting you in every way. And Brian Boigner and Jimmy Hay and just so many other guys that were in there that went out of their way to make our lives easier and make my life easier. I'm so thankful to have had those relationships and to have spent the time that I did with them. The media, the PR staff. There's playing the quarterback position. I feel like you end up getting closer with these guys than maybe some of the other spots because, there's so much that you're asked to do. But during my time here, it was the best in the business, and I'm thankful for all that you guys did for me to make my life easier during that time. Then community relations and the entire sports staff. I don't really know how to say thank you enough, because these people were taking so much off of our plate to allow us to go out there and play. Fielding my dad's crazy phone calls for tickets on a Friday or Saturday that I didn't even know about. And so, there's so many people in this building who did such an amazing job of supporting not only myself, but all of the teammates that I had, and I'm thankful for that, and I really appreciate it. Also, a big thank you to the folks in Indianapolis, where I spent 1 year, Mr. Irsay and Chris Ballard and that entire organization. It was, I don't think how either of us wanted it to go. I think we were hoping for a different result, but I'm thankful for that opportunity. You don't take it lightly in this league to have the chance to go out there and play. So a thank you to everyone in Indianapolis. And then, on the personal side, I want to thank my parents. As a father of 3, and looking back to, the sacrifices that my parents made for me, and giving me, every opportunity to chase the dream that I wanted to chase. I can't thank them enough, and tell them that I love them and I appreciate everything that they did for me. They're a huge part of the reason that I'm standing here today, retiring from a 15-year career in the NFL. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And then my siblings, my sister and my 2 brothers, they're ride or die, and they felt it week in and week out. The wins and the losses, the ups and the downs, and they rode through every part of that with me. And so a big thank you to them. And then, to my sons, who are all sitting here, Marshall, Johnny, and Cal. My one wish was that I could have, played longer, so that you guys would have been able to share in that experience more than you did. But I'm so thankful that you did get to experience some of the way that you did. And more so than that, I'm excited to see what you guys are going to become, because at one point I was a 6-year-old or a 1-year-old with dreams of wanting to do this. And I look at you guys and I know that everything in this life is in front of you. And I'm excited to see the men that you're going to become, because I really think you guys are going to be special. And then, finally, before I'll open it up to some questions, I want to thank Sarah. I would not have had the career that I had without you. And I prided myself on coming into the building every day with the same mindset and being consistent for my teammates. But I know I wasn't that for you when I came home. And you are the one person on the planet who saw how it was really every day for me. And I would not have been able to ride the highs or to endure the lows without your support. And I know that that meant a lot of sacrificing on your end. And I just want to tell you thank you for allowing me to be able to chase this dream that I wanted to at the cost of time spent together. And now I got some more time to spend it together, and hopefully that'll be good. But I'm so thankful, and I love you so much. And I really believe that, my time as a player was as successful as it was because of you. And I love you for that. So thank you so much. Finally, to the fans of Atlanta. I want to say thank you. I think for the 14 years that I was the quarterback here, I felt the passion and the energy all the time. And it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were ups and downs, and I'm sure lots of frustration and lots of, enjoyable times as well. But I never took it lightly. I kind of understood the position and the responsibility, you know, that I had, and I tried to do it as best as I could every day to come out and to be the best version of myself, and try and be the best quarterback I could be for this organization, for this city. And so I want to say thank you for the continued support. It was a hell of a ride, and you know, I'm excited to see what's next, you know, this next chapter of life, but you know, and kind of see where that takes us. But today, you know, it's exciting for me because, you know, you never have control in this profession of where you're going to start. And I could not have been luckier, you know, that it was a start here in Atlanta, and it went for 14 years, and now I can bookend it and retire as a Falcon today. So thank you for that opportunity. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you guys might have.
Yeah, hey, Matt,
D-Led, this is the last time you get to go first. This is the last press conference I do that you go first. That's right. There's no notes. You're on a computer. What is this? I don't even know this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, just paperwork-wise, when are you filing the papers, and when does that clock start? And then
Yeah. Well, I just signed a one-day contract prior to coming down here.
okay.
I feel like it was this was one of the team-friendly deals that I signed for. So, you know, I took the hometown discount. No, they were always team-friendly. Yeah, no, so I think I'm not the expert on that, but I think that paperwork goes in tomorrow.
Okay. And just take us back to the beginning. You know, Bill Musgrave is working
Yeah.
with you. First pass of the
That's it right there.
touchdown.
That's it.
A couple weeks later, you beat the Bears in 11 seconds.
That was also Mike Jenkins on the sideline, right? The old bench route.
Just, you know, those memorable moments at the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of let you know, hey, this might be, we might be a long ride here for yourself.
I mean, I was flying by the seat of my pants. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, I think back to it, though, you know, so Bill Musgrave, I'm so thankful for Bill and the first 3 years that I had with him. I mean, he helped me so much in terms of time management. I have this kind of, you know, acronym that I've lived by since then. It's TSVR, and Bill was the one who taught me it: time spent, value received. And I think it was an incredibly valuable lesson, you know, at an early age. Was, you know, let's invest our time in stuff that's actually going to impact us playing well and impact us winning football games. And honestly, it's something that I carried through and really tried to, you know, do for my 14 years here in the year in Indy. So, you know, that was awesome. But, you know, thinking back on that first touchdown pass to Jenk, I remember on Friday I would meet with Mike Malarkey and go through the first 15 plays. And I was sitting in his office that Friday, and I was like, Mike, you know, I'd really love to get a completion early on, you know, just something easy, right? And so I think we were like zero. I think we called it like zero strong, 62 Comet Sync was the formation, the play call, whatever. And so the front side of it is like curl flat. It's like the first concept you learn, you know, when you're in, you know, fifth, whatever grade now. You know, and all we're going to do is key kind of the hook defender. And he's like, hey, they play X amount of, you know, this cover six, so quarter, half. You're going to be front side. They play it like 95% of the time. The only other thing they play is this one thing where they roll the safety down weak, and it's going to be the single high coverage. If so, you know, just throw the skinny post. If you miss it in the dirt, it's no big deal. We'll move it to the next one. So I'm up there. I get under center, and I'm like, all right, it's third play of the game. I think we ran the ball twice to Michael Turner. And I get under, and I'm like, all right, please give me cover six so I can throw this flat route as fast as I can, you know, get it out of my hands as quick as possible. And sure enough, I'm sure Jenk probably saw it the same way. The safety start rotating pre-snap, and I'm like, holy shit, I got to throw this skinny post. I got to let it rip. And I hit my back foot, and Jenk ran a great route. He was, you know, so good at those timing routes, whether it was the semis, whether it was the skinny post. But if you're talking about a guy who ran routes on time, on the right steps, was exactly where he needed to be when he was supposed to be there. That was Michael Jenkins. And so I don't remember celebrating. I've seen the clips of it, you know, obviously afterwards. I was losing my mind. But, that was a really cool start. And then that Chicago game was crazy. I think back to how much the league has changed. You think about like all of the defenses that you accumulate seeing through the 15 years of playing, and I think we were like expecting that picket fence defense on the sideline. Somebody just defending the boundary, and they came out and played cover 2, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be open. Like this is crazy. And sure enough, Jenk is exactly where we needed him to be, when he was supposed to be there. But that season was so much fun, and it's such a blur. And I wish, with the players that are sitting here, I wish I was a more experienced player at that time for them, because I really think I could have helped them. I was still cutting my teeth and trying to figure things out. That football team was good. Was really good. There was a lot of talent all over that team, and I was trying to do the best that I could, but I eventually turned into a better player than I was that rookie year. And that's the thing you look back on. You wish you could have been more experienced for guys like Todd or Brian or so many others.
Matt, how proud of you are you of your durability over the years, and also how proud is it for you now that it's all over, not just to be a revered Falcon, but to be one of the most revered players to ever play in the city of Atlanta?
I'll start with the durability. I think I think it's always interesting the things that happen in your life along the way that kind of shape who you are. And I think as you're raising kids, you start to see like you don't know what moments are going to be impactful or the things that you're going to hold on to, but I think it's little things that kind of add up. And I remember growing up, I had an uncle who played at Boston College, and his name was John Lockery, and he broke his thumb when he was at BC, and the guy that came in and replaced him was Doug Flutie. And I remember being like, man, if you get your chance, there's good players all over the place. You've got to be able to get back out on the field every week and do it and produce no matter how you're feeling. Sometimes you're not going to feel great. And so it was a little thing like that kind of, I heard the story when I was like 6 or 7, and it just kind of never left. And then I took that to heart, of I'm going to do everything I can in terms of training, in terms of, taking care of my body, in terms of doing the rehab that I need to do. And then sometimes just gutting it out. Sometimes you can do all that stuff and it's still going to hurt. And so I'm proud of that. I look back at it now and I'm kind of like, how did you do? Like, what were you doing? But I loved it, and I loved every minute of that. And partly, I think as athletes, what makes you feel so alive too, is knowing that you can grind through things and you can go out there and you can get it done. So I am proud of that. I feel like, the organization paid me a great contract, and it was my responsibility to be able to show up and earn it, every week. And I took that seriously. And then as far as, looking back and, how other people see you, and, I'm just proud to be a part of it. There's some unbelievable athletes who have come through Atlanta, whether you're talking about Dominique or Chipper or you name the pitcher for the Braves, right? Like, there's just some unbelievable guys that have come through this city and been able to play at a high level for a long time. And just to even be mentioned, with those guys, to me, I think back of those Braves guys, they ruined my childhood growing up as a Phillies fan. So then I got to meet them and I'm like, really? So, to be a part of that conversation is special to me.
And Matt, congratulations.
Thank you.
When did you become at peace with the decision?
Yeah, I think there's, I'm not sure you're ever truly, give into the fact that you're no longer a player, right? I don't know if that part ever kind of leaves you. But the year in Indy was tough. And so on my family, Sarah was pregnant with Cal. And for me, it was the time in life and the time for us as a family that, my guys were starting school. there were other things outside of just myself that were important to me. And so I think that was probably the driving force for me saying, all right, let's explore, what other avenues are out there. And I got to do it. Selfishly, I got to do it for a long time. And like I mentioned, Sarah took so much off of that, but at some point, marriage is a team, and you've got to play your role. And so I think that's what kind of gives me peace, with all of it is I think, moving away and kind of finding other things to do is better for where we're at right now.
Matt, can I ask you a couple questions? One, Matt Ryan, the television analyst. And is Matt Ryan, the TV analyst, think Matt Ryan, the player, is a Hall of Famer?
Loaded question. Loaded question. Yes and yes, but I mean, so I feel like I would be harder on myself, as an analyst, and I was so thankful to be able to do that this past season too. I really enjoyed, working for CBS and calling games with the crew that I got to call them with. As far as the other stuff, I think my body of work is strong, and I think I did a lot of things the right way, but ultimately it's not really my call, and so it doesn't really make a difference. But I'll say this: I'm really proud of the things that we accomplished as a group, and if you would have told me at 15, that this was the way it was going to shake out, I would have signed up for it every time.
One more from me too. I hate to be the one to have to ask this, but you have to. How frustrating or does it pain you to not win that Super Bowl? Obviously, when you all were so close.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it does. It hurts. I think that's, it's one of the things I think that is always a part of you, right? That falling short of what you ultimately set out to do is tough. But that's life. There's so many things in your life that are going to go that way, and you've got to pick up and move on. I remember seeing a Winston Churchill quote, and it's, success isn't final and failure is not fatal. What counts is the courage to continue on. And I think back to that is, of course we would have loved to have won that, and of course it still hurts, but you've got to have the courage to continue on. And one of the things I was most proud of, in my career is that 2017 football team of having to answer the question that I still get asked, every day for the course of that season, and grinding our way back into the playoffs, winning a playoff game out in LA, and then ultimately, falling a little short in Philadelphia. That was a hard season on that group. And, it was a resilient and tough bunch.
Now, if you go back 16 years today, draft is, days away, you've done all the work.
Yeah.
Did you have expectations or what you wanted?
Take me back now. I'd go back. Yeah.
Did you have an expectation or what you wanted out of the team that drafted you, and how did the Falcons kind of surpass or fit what you were expecting?
Well, I wish they would have given me the heads up that the work was already done and they knew it was going to happen at 3, because I didn't know, So that would have been nice a couple days prior. But, at that point, I mean, it's such a whirlwind, right? A whirlwind. And so I remember I was in New York at the time. The draft was in New York. So I was up there a couple days early and kind of doing that run around. And I think, honestly, being so busy with all of that stuff was probably exactly what was good for me at the time, right? Not just sitting around thinking about the what ifs and what's going to happen and where am I going to end up. I think I was at peace, at that point, and I was young and dumb, which is, there's a lot of beauty to that as well, of just, wherever I end up, I'm going to get, to work as fast as possible. And I'm fortunate, for me, it was here.
Anybody have anything else?
All right.
I wonder if for the last couple of years, you were in Indy one of those years, but not being here, how much did you watch the Falcons? What was it like for you watching the Falcons, particularly last year watching them from the broadcast booth?
Yeah, it was, Indy was strange. I remember, I didn't, when you're playing, you don't see it as much. So I didn't see them play all that much. But I remember being, I forget where we were in the preseason. They were playing the night before, and they were on. And I remember sitting in the like the team meal room and being like, wow, that was weird. You know, it was strange. But commentating, you know, I think was, I thought it was a really cool experience. I think it's difficult, you know, because there's obviously, you know, personal relationships that are there. But I really enjoyed it. And I will say this, you know, to Arthur's credit, it was the best booth to commentate from in the NFL. I will say that. Mercedes-Benz Stadium was phenomenal. The food, the layout at halftime was exceptional. But honestly, the vantage point, the view lines, it's an incredible place to call a game. And so that was special. It was really weird calling a New Orleans Falcons game, you know, in the dome of like, all right, I'm gonna be fair here. As much as it might pain me to be fair, I'm going to be fair. But, you know, that part, I really, you know, enjoyed it. But I've always viewed the commentating portion of it as, you know, I was hard on myself. And so, you know, I think as a player, you look at things and you can say, you know, I view it the same way as I would tell myself, you have to make that play, or, you know, you shouldn't have made, whatever it is, right? You know, I kind of view it from that standpoint. So I actually, you know, viewed the commentating it as a lot of fun.
What will you miss most?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think everybody says it, but being in the locker room, right? And, you know, not just like joking around or whatever in the locker room, but there's a feeling you get when you put in this hard work collectively, and you see that other people are sacrificing for you, that there's like this mutual respect. And like that portion of it, I'll miss, you know, of knowing that I've exhausted myself and I've seen you do the same thing and I can trust you. That trust level is something that is hard to find. We weren't that tight in the booth, you know, we weren't out there, you know, doing training camp practices or whatever, but it's just different. And so I missed that portion of it. Oddly enough, and I thought this was strange, but like last season, you know, I missed the physicality of it a little bit, which is crazy. I feel like people are like, how does it feel to not get hit? And like, I feel much better on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, but like, I don't know if you guys ever felt the same way. There's something, like I missed that part of it of like getting hit and getting up and like pushing through. I'll miss that, you know, portion of it. So those would probably be the two biggest things.
And one more for me, when Cal's old enough, and, you know, 15, 20 years from now, when it says my dad, Matt Ryan, played in the league, how would you want him to remember Matt Ryan?
As a Falcon, you know, as a guy that was, you know, committed to this city for a long time. And these guys have access on their phone at any time, right? So it's a lot easier for them to see highlights of the career than it was for, you know, me growing up. But yeah, it'll be. I don't know how to answer it, to be honest with you, but I did it. You know, I hope he thinks I did it the right way, and you know that's what I always tried to do. You know, was show up day in and day out and approach it the right way, work the right way, compete the right way, and try and be, you know, a good ambassador for the organization that was putting so much trust in me.
Have you had any thoughts or conversations about a role with the organization in the future, you know, whatever that might be?
No. I know this. I don't want to coach. I'm certain of that. Yeah, no, I feel like I you know, you put so much into it as a player for 15 years, and you know, there's this immediate, you know, kind of withdrawal from it. But I know what those, you know, roles look like, and how invested and how hard those guys have to work, and the level of expertise and work that it takes to get there. And so, no, I haven't had any of those conversations. I've really been enjoying kind of the broadcast side of it, and have had a lot of fun with that.
Did you get any other offer after you left Indy and that didn't work out? Did anybody approach you about playing on? Did you get any serious offers, anything you considered, or was that sort of the end of it?
Yeah, I had multiple conversations, but nothing that, you know, obviously nothing that I wanted to do.
Did you want to be, I mean, I would assume if somebody came to you and said you wanted to be a backup or anything, was that sort of, did anybody have that in mind, and you were like, no, that's not, that's not me?
These guys know I probably wouldn't be the best. I probably wouldn't be the best guy to not be in charge. Could I play now?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I haven't been training, but I'll tell a funny story. So I wasn't training last year, and I was coaching my kids, the boys' flag football team. And so at the last practice, all these kids wanted to see if they could catch like 60-yard passes. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. It was the first time I had thrown like legitimately. My arm was absolutely killing me the next day. And so to answer your question, no, I don't think I could show up and play today.
Having had the opportunity to interview you 3 times a week for 14 straight seasons, I just want to publicly apologize for all the stupid stuff.
We can go around the room. We can go around the room. Everybody, I could take back a few things. Maybe everybody could. Yeah. Art, you're the best. No. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate everybody coming today. Thank you very much. Thank you. Say it.
Thank you.
All right, your turn. You ready?
Thank you.
Yes.